Hello YouTube, Gaming Goddess here, doing a review on Star Ocean: The Last Hope. This is the fourth installment and the prequel to the Star Ocean series. I was pretty excited about this game since I got to play the international version for this review, which is an exclusive release for the PlayStation 3. This version of the game came out a year after the Xbox 360 release in 2009, so let's get started. Starting off, we can set our level of difficulty between the two given options, Earth, which is easy, and Galaxy, which is normal. The Last Hope is an RPG with a real-time battle system, just like the previous games in the series. This game has a few different features, such as allowing the player to get a preemptive strike against the enemies, the blindside system, where the player can leave a targeting enemy open for a counterattack by leaving their line of sight, a real-time character switch between an active party member and a reserve party member, and finally, each character has their own unique rush gauge status. Off to the right-hand side of the screen, we have our bonus board. This is a pretty cool feature. There are a total of 14 spots, and each spot can hold a crystal. A red crystal is obtained when you defeat an enemy with skills only. The blue crystal is obtained when you defeat an enemy with a critical hit. Yellow crystals can be obtained by defeating multiple enemies at the same time, and green is obtained by getting an ambush. Each of the crystals serve a different purpose, but they're all pretty helpful. Once you completed a battle, you are then rewarded with experience points, SP, and whatever bonuses you might have obtained from the bonus board. Experience are divided between the active party members, so I suggest leveling up the 4 characters you plan on using throughout most of the game. Of course, we have our battle, field, and item creation skills. Skills are a major part of the game because of their usage inside and outside of battle. First, we have our battle skills, which includes symbology that can be used to heal the party and can be used to attack enemies. We also have skills that are used to analyze the enemies. Next up, we have our item creation skills, such as cooking and alchemy. These skills are obviously used to make a variety of items such as weapons, food, and even healing items for combat. The downside to item creation is that it's going to cost SP every time you go and make something, but it's still a pretty good idea to try to make a lot of different items since they'll help you out in the long run. Finally, we have our field skills, which are basically skills that can be used on the field, like harvesting or mining. This is essential for item creation since you need raw materials in order to invent something or to make something you already know the recipe for. I had mentioned SP previously. Well, item creation isn't the only thing it's used for. As a member in your party levels, or with the help of the bonus board, you will gain both party SP and individual SP. This can be put towards each individual skill that the character knows. I wouldn't worry too much about leveling the field skills or the skills that are used for item creation. I would highly recommend maxing out your healing symbology and your strongest battle skills. Each skill will increase in how much damage they do to a monster, or the higher the percentage will be when you heal a party member. Now, who exactly are our party members? Well, let's see. We have Edge, Raimi, FAAAAAAAAAAAAIZE, Limmel, Bacchus, Miracle, Miria, Sarah, and Arumet. During battle, one of the 9 characters can act as a leader. This is who you will play as when you fight. The player can switch leaders through the menu or during battle. You should be sure to try out each and every character to see which group of characters works better for you in combat. Edge, FAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAA Bacchus and Miracle act as tanks, while Limmel, Miria, and Sarah are magic users and healers. At least this is the deduction that I came up with while playing. That pretty much covers the basic gameplay. Since I am reviewing the international version of this game, there are a few differences I would like to point out. 1. The PlayStation 3 version is only played on one disc, unlike the 360 version where the game is played on several discs. 2. In our system settings, we can change the character portraits from the 3D animation to the anime style, which in my opinion looks a lot cooler. 3. The graphics on the PS3 version are indeed brighter, but it doesn't really make it look any more realistic to me. Some of the scenes are almost too bright in my opinion. Also, the 3D characters are given more of a dull look instead of the shiny, glossy look that they're given in the 360 version. As for the graphics on the PS3 version, it doesn't really freeze or lag as much as the 360 version, so that's always a plus. Next, we have the different subtitle options that we can choose from in the international version. And finally, we can change the voices from English to Japanese, which isn't an option in the 360 version. Moving right along to the pros and cons. First off, the game was pretty enjoyable. The story is actually interesting, and it's also pretty fun playing as the different characters when you battle. As for the cons, playing this game on easy is still a pretty tough challenge. The English voice acting for a few of the characters aren't exactly the greatest, and the game is actually pretty slow at the beginning. Star Ocean: The Last Hope was a pretty enjoyable game for me. The story was actually good, and it was also pretty easy to follow what was going on in the story, which is always a plus. Another feature in this game that I liked is the different endings that you can find for each of the characters. Depending on the affection points that a character has with Edge will determine the character's ending that you will get to see. As for which is better, the international or the 360 version, that's really up to you. There's plenty of differences, but the story is still the same. I've played both, and to be honest, I've only beaten the international version of the game, but that's just because I prefer the PS3 controllers over the Xbox controllers. But aside from that, I really feel like the Japanese voices made the game a lot more believable when a certain character would speak. As for the English, I feel like it was really just there for a good laugh. Overall, Star Ocean: The Last Hope gets an 8 out of 10 for me. This has been a Gaming Goddess review, and remember to keep on gaming.